Hello everyone, it's Evans Racing here and welcome back to another F1 2022 mod career as Kevin Magnussen in the Formula 1 Haas car. But here today we will be going around the circuit of in Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix. So without anything else to do, let's jump straight into qualifying. And now we jump to our outlap now, where we're coming through the last corner now, accelerating it out as early as we can. Coming across the line, speeding things up to start our first flying lap of this qualifying session. And we're coming through this little chicane bit now onto straight, using DRS now opened, braking heavy into this another chicane bit, now into the double right hander. Now into these high speed corners. DRS open. Braking hard into this corner and braking hard again. Now into the last corner, braking hard, accelerating out as early as you can, going across the line for 1 minute 17.2. And now we come on to our second and final flying qualifying lap, where we see ourselves in P9 at the moment as we come onto the very long straight. Braking at 100 meters roughly, using all the carb on the insides, cutting the corner as much as we can without getting a corner cut warning. DRS open, going flying down, braking heavy. Going a bit wide here, exceeding track limits, but we don't get an invalidation luckily. Keeping it within track limits now. Accelerating out, qualifying now complete. Now using all the carb as much as we can. DRS now open, we're now up by 5 tenths almost. Braking heavy at 100 meters. Using all the carb as much as we can, staying nice and tight to the apex on both of these corners. Now into the last corner now, just hitting the apex, accelerating out as early as we can, going across the line for a 1 minute 16.4. And now we look at today's starting grid. So it is Charles Leclerc who's got pole position. Then it's Max Verstappen alongside. Then it's Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, ourselves Kevin Magnussen in P5, Hamilton, Russell, our teammate Mick Schumacher in P8, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Norris, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda, Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll, and finally in last place we got Nicholas Latifi. So this is our strategy for today. We'll be starting on the soft compound tyre and moving on to the medium compound tyre, and we will be pitting around lap 7. We're going to take some fuel out the car to make our car as light as possible. And now we go to 5 red lights. And off we go for the Mexican Grand Prix for 2022. And it's Charles Leclerc who gets off to a decent start. But we get off to a fantastic start. And we've already overtaken Carlos Sainz into the first corner. And now we're gaining. And we're going to brake as late as we can. And we're right behind Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, as Sergio Perez goes down the inside of his teammate Max Verstappen, but that leaves him vulnerable. And now we're right behind him. And Sergio Perez has made the move, and now we're right behind Max Verstappen. We're going to go right around the outside of the current world champion. We're going to push him out wide, and we go up into P3 now. It's a great start from us. And now we're chasing down Sergio Perez, who's only 3 tenths in front of us at this moment of time. And as you can see, we're just gaining the game, but he's just sort of blocking us. He's too slow around here, and we're too quick to be going through here. And now Max Verstappen tries to have a go at us, but in doing so, we go right round the outside of the Sergio Perez for his home Grand Prix, and we've taken second place off of him. And now we're going to be chasing down Charles Leclerc, who's already 3.6 seconds in front of us. And now I don't know what's happened, but now Sergio Perez is now into the pit lane. So he must have got damaged when fighting against Max Verstappen, because when we overtook him, we did not touch him or make any contact with him. And now it's 3 wide between Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. It's 3 wide still into the first corner. It's Max Verstappen who's got the inside line, and we should have the better corner, but he gets caught out. They're still 3 wide. They are still 3 wide, and now Gasly tries to have a look down, tries to get into the action, but it's Max Verstappen who comes out on top and who gets P3, and it's Carlos Sainz who gets P4, and it's Hamilton who stays in P5. And now we switch to our onboard now, where we are losing so much time to Charles Leclerc, who's now 4.5 seconds in front of us. And it's only been 2 laps. Now we're coming through the last couple of corners. Now into the last corner now, using the auto curb on the inside, getting the power down as early as possible, as Charles Leclerc is putting in fastest lap after lap. And now DRS has just been enabled from the stewards. But now Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton both come into the pit lane, so they must have damage as well. They must have made contact when fighting, going 3 wide into this part of the track where we are currently are. And now we jump onto the end of lap 3, now coming on to lap 4, where we are 6.7 seconds behind Leclerc, who's in first place. And now Max Verstappen has DRS on us, and he fly passes us like we're not even there, and that's Max Verstappen up into P2. So now can we stay with him, and can we use him to catch up to Charles Leclerc? And now we look at our teammate who's been trying to make a move on Yuki Tsunoda, and he does the exact same move as what Verstappen did to us, and that's our teammate up a place and Yuki Tsunoda down a place. We cut the corner quite a lot there, but we don't get any warning for it, so we'll take it. We're still within DRS range only by a 1/10, so it looks like we're gonna come out of DRS range very soon, as Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc are just too quick for us around this circuit. Now we come for the last corner, accelerating as early as possible, not within DRS range sadly. And now we jump on to lap 7 now, where we are 5.2 seconds behind Max Verstappen in second place, and we're 10 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, who is in first. And we're also 6.1 seconds in front of George Russell behind us in P4. So at this moment in time, it's looking a very comfortable P3 at the moment. Got lots of time in front of us, and we've also got lots of time behind us. But we still need to pit, and there's still a long way to go. And I say that, and we come into the pit lane right now, locking up our tyres, but we managed to slow the car down just enough to not get that 5-second speeding penalty. And now we're coming into our pit box now. A fairly decent stop from the Haas pit crew, but it could be better, but it can also be worse. So we're going to come out of the pit lane in P13, and we are right behind Alexander Albon, who is 3 seconds in front of us. And now we switch to where Daniel Ricciardo trying to make a move on Valtteri Bottas. Daniel Ricciardo goes down the inside into turn 1. They almost made contact, but that's Daniel Ricciardo up into P5 now, and Valtteri Bottas down to P6. We jump to our onboard now, where we are slowly gaining on Alex Albon. Well, I say slowly, we've knocked off 3 seconds already, and it hasn't even been a lap yet. And now we come into the double right-hander now, where we are virtually touching his gearbox in front. And as you can see, we're just so much more quicker. We just need to make an overtake. So we're going to make a brave move. We're going to go down the inside. And we go up into P9 now. DRS open. And then we're chasing after Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time world champion. Using all the curb as much as we can on the inside and on the exit. Coming through this corner now, where Vettel and Tsunoda both make a pit stop now, and we're also going to get DRS because of how close we are in front of them. And now Sergio Perez is trying to make a move on Lance Stroll. He goes down the inside of the Canadian, and it's a Mexican driver at his home Grand Prix who moves up into P5. And we jump back to our onboard now, where we are in P3 now. And we are 7 seconds behind Verstappen and 10.3 seconds behind Charles Leclerc.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
Jeff telling us to be careful at this moment in time, as there could be some debris on the track from an earlier incident. And now we jump onto lap 12 now, where George Russell is trying to make a move on the Mexican driver, Sergio Perez. He uses DRS and he makes the move done before the corner, before they even get to the first corner. So that's George Russell up into P4 now. And now we come through this little, now we're coming through the double right-hander now, hitting both apexes. Now coming up to the high speed corners. And now we jump onto the next lap now, where Max Verstappen has caught up to Charles Leclerc, uses DRS, and he's made a move on Charles Leclerc into the first corner using that DRS. And it's a nice easy move for the current world champion. Valtteri Bottas trying to make a move, trying to re-overtake Daniel Ricciardo. They do make a bit of contact, and Daniel Ricciardo slips it back down the insides, but Valtteri Bottas isn't giving up, and he will have DRS now for the next straight. So Valtteri Bottas cannot make the move into the first part of the track, but can he make a move into this next corner now, as we see the back of Daniel Ricciardo's car. And Daniel Ricciardo goes around the outside, but Valtteri Bottas gets a better exit and better traction. And that's Valtteri Bottas up into P10, I think that was. And now we're coming through the last sector now, with a couple of laps to go, as Max Verstappen sets a new fastest lap of the race, where he's almost 15 seconds in front of us. So that just shows that we just don't have the pace to be fighting with the top two.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
And now we look behind us, where Lewis Hamilton has got DRS on Esteban Ocon, and he fly passes him like he's not even there. And that's Lewis Hamilton up into P8 and Esteban Ocon down to P9. Jump back to our onboard now, where we are still chasing down Charles Leclerc like we have been from the very first lap. We go quite wide here for some reason. Into a double right-hander. Now exit as fast as we can. Now at this moment of time of the race, I was getting some engineer radio calls saying that there's some rain to be expected at the end of this race. So hopefully it won't affect us too much, but there will be some rain at the end of this race. As now Sergio Perez is trying to re-overtake George Russell with DRS. Doesn't quite work into the first corner, but he will have the inside line. He's going to push George Russell out wide, but George Russell isn't having none of it, and they make contact, and Sergio Perez has to go around the outside. He will have DRS now, I believe. And yes, that's Sergio Perez back up into P4 now. So George Russell has to re-overtake Sergio Perez back to get P4 now. And now we come on to the end of the lap, where George Russell is now getting overtaken by Carlos Sainz now. And now Carlos Sainz is up into P5 and George Russell's down to P6 now. And can Pierre Gasly make a move as well now? As George Russell comes through here. And yes, he will, because George Russell and Sergio Perez both come into the pit lane now. With on lap 16 out of 18. And they both come into the pit lane to, I assume, to fit a new front wing on. So they must have made contact. Well, they did make contact, so that must have been when they got that front wing damage. So that is them two drivers out of the point position for the rest of this race. And now we're on lap 17 out of 18, so we've got 2 laps to go now. Where we are chasing down Charles Leclerc, who's 17 seconds in front. I keep saying we're chasing him down, but we just don't have to pace at all. And we're very comfortable in P3. We've got a gap between 17.3 seconds in front of us and a gap of 7.5 seconds behind us. And now, as you can see on our dashboard now, on our onboard, where there is drops of where we can see drops of rain. So the rain has hit us with now coming on to the last lap. So hopefully it will not fall down like it would do in London. But we're in Mexico, so hopefully it won't do that and affect us too much because we're on the slick tyres. So we're now on to the final lap of the race where the rain is getting slightly heavier. Now we're coming onto the long straight now, braking out 100 meters. And as you can see, there isn't a lot of grip now. So the rain is affecting us already, even though it's only just started. We're going to be using all of our ERS as much as we can, using it all up. And as you can see, we just can't put the power down as much as we can because there is just no grip at all at the moment. And now we switch over to Max Verstappen, who's coming through the last sector now. Who's now coming through the last corner. Coming through the exit of the last corner now. Accelerating as early as possible. He comes across the line and it's Max Verstappen who wins the Mexican Grand Prix. And it's Charles Leclerc who comes across the line and gets second place. And now we jump to our onboard now where we're coming through the high speed corners. But we are not going through these at high speed as there's no grip at all on these medium compound tyre. Because of the how much tyre wear we've got throughout the race. Because it is raining quite a lot now. So we're having to use some higher gears now to keep it under control. Now we're now coming through the last corner now. Accelerating as early as we can. Putting our foot down flat now. ERS being used up. We come across the line for P3. So it's a great race today. A very comfortable P3, I do have to say. But some really good fighting throughout the whole grid for today's race.
Talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So it's Max Verstappen who wins the Mexican Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc who comes in second place, and ourselves, Kevin Magnussen, in P3. So that's these are podium finishes for the Mexican Grand Prix. And now we look at the driver standings where Max Verstappen continues to lead the standings with 408 points, and then Carlos Sainz behind him with 293 points, which sees a gap of 115 points between them two. Then further down we see Charles Leclerc overtake Sergio Perez in the driver standings with Charles Leclerc now on 273 and Sergio Perez on 265. And then further down we see ourselves, Kevin Magnussen, in P6 with 139 points. where we are a few points behind Hamilton and a few points ahead of Russell. And now we look at the constructor standings, where Red Bull continues to lead the constructor standings with 673 points, and the Ferraris in second place with 566 points, which sees a gap of 107 points between them two. Mercedes looking very comfortable in P3 with 262 points, and ourselves looking comfortable in P4 with 164 points. Further down we look at the standings, where AlphaTauris overtake the Alfa Romeos by 1 point. So if you have enjoyed it, please do give it a like, please do subscribe down below for more racing based content, and I will see you in the next round, where we will be going to Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix, where hopefully we can beat our teammate once again.
Summer.